There are moments in every photographer's journey when someone else's work hits you like a lightning strike. For me, one of those moments was seeing the photographs of Daido Moriyama for the first time. His blurred, grainy, high contrast world, his raw way of seeing the city. It felt wild, instinctive, and completely unfiltered. And I remember thinking, why does this feel like a home? Not because I wanted to copy his style, far from it, but because something in his photographs spoke to a part of my vision I didn't have words for yet. What drew me to Moriyama wasn't just the aesthetics. It wasn't the contrast or the famous grain or the blur. It was the feeling of recognition. He was photographing the unnoticed corners of everyday life, the fragments, the moments most people walk past, the edge of existence. When I looked at his work, it felt like he was photographing something I had always believed in. Not the spectacular, not the decisive moment, but the everyday. Over time, I realized something even more important. We weren't speaking the same language, but we were speaking adjacent languages. Moriyama's world is raw, fast, chaotic, restless. He photographs the city like it's a living beast that never sleeps. My world is different. I come from the quiet side of everyday life. Stillness, reflections, empty spaces, human traces, moments of waiting. He uses black and white to tear reality apart. I use black and white to let the ordinary speak. The connection was never about imitation. It was about shared ground, different emotions growing from the same soil. There was a moment when I asked myself, am I just following his path? It's a dangerous question for any photographer because admiration can turn into imitation if you are not careful. But the deeper I studied his work, the more I realized that the similarities were emotional, not visual. We stand in the same landscape, but we walk different roads. The real change came when I stopped looking at his photographs to see what he captured and started looking at my own photographs to see what I was drawn to. And I noticed my patterns: silence instead of chaos, fragments instead of action. People not as actors, but as presence, the overlooked, ignored ordinary. And then it became clear. Moriyama gave me a vocabulary, but the sentences were mine. I respect him deeply. I honor the way his photography expanded what black and white can be. But my work took a different route. Not the city attacking the senses, but the world revealing itself quietly. I don't need the violence of the night. I don't need the blur as a constant. I don't need the grit as an identity. I'm drawn to the other side of reality, the subtle, the unnoticed, the fragments of everyday life. Moriyama gave me the permission to go deeper into that world, not to follow him, but to recognize myself. In the end, I didn't become a Moriyama clone. I didn't try to replicate his energy. Instead, I discovered the point where his vision touches mine but doesn't overlap. We meet on the border, the ordinary, the overlooked, the black and white world of fragments. But then each of us turns and walks in a different direction. And that's the beauty of influence. Not copying, not repetition, but recognition. Seeing a piece of yourself in someone else's work, and then choosing your own road.